Welcome back and thank you for joining us. I am Marissa Gleockler for Boys and Girls Clubs Clubcast, and today I'm joined by our board member, Charles Cuomo, who is a very busy board member. He's got so much going on, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about golf and chili cook-off, and it's our 30th anniversary. So before we get into all of that, I do want to talk to you a little bit about how you initially got involved with Boys and Girls Clubs. I know you had a long career in St. Lucie County schools, so tell me a little bit about all of that.
Well, it was through the school district that I did, through my relationship with Chuck Hill. And Chuck was one of our initial founders, which he was the one that saw a need for a club in our community. He and some other brilliant individuals saw that there was something missing. And basically what it was, being in the school district, when the kids left, they really didn't have any after-school programs. And what they started to realize was that some of the kids were getting into mischievous behavior. And Chuck had a background with the Boys and Girls Club through the military, because they also have military on-site clubs as well. And he and about 6 or 7 other people, including the mayor at that time, had a first Boys and Girls Club in a classroom at Port St. Lucie Elementary.
Wow.
And then through my contact with Chuck, you know, he invited me to do a tour. And at the time I was at, I believe, Forest Grove Middle School. And when I went in, a couple of my kids ran up to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Cuomo, good to see you." And from there on, then I started to get involved a little bit more, and here I am now 20-something years later, the old guy on the board.
Well, we were just saying, I asked you before we started taping how long you've been a board member, and you were like, oh, I don't know, 20-something years.
It's a long time. I was a lot younger.
And you've seen it kind of grow from both the teachers and principals' perspective on the back end of the schools. You've seen it as a board member, and you've seen kids go through the program while at the school. How do you see that relationship?
Well, they're all connected. I mean, it's a collaboration because everyone has the same interest on youth development. And other than the school district, we are the second largest youth development program in St. Lucie County. So there's that connection. And I think, you know, we're kind of all working towards the same goal. Like, I'll try not to mess up our mission statement, but you know, our mission statement is to enable all young people, especially those that need us the most, to achieve to their fullest potential, to be caring, responsible, and productive citizens. So, I mean, I think everybody in that arena is hoping that that's going to be a positive outcome. So that's the connection.
And I think, too, there's so many other amazing nonprofits in St. Lucie County that kind of have a similar goal. And so over the years, I don't know how you've seen it progress, but now we're at a point where we're partnering with so many other nonprofits throughout the Treasure Coast. Yeah, not just St. Lucie County, but the whole Treasure Coast to achieve that mission. So have you seen that grow? Absolutely.
You know, when I first became a board member, we basically had one club, you know, and Norm Penner was our CEO, which did a great job. Norm was with our organization for 14 years. And we had a very dynamic board of very popular people, I should say, or influential people on the board to support that initiative. But now, considering the needs that exist in our community and the growth that we're making, you can't do it on your own. You have to have those collaborations with organizations that have a like mind to be able to provide what I always say, a better place to live in our community. And that starts with our kids, you know, because when people come here and they move here, being in the school district, the first thing they want to know how our schools are and what else do you do with children. You know? And our club provides those opportunities.
And along those lines, we're getting more and more heavily involved with workforce readiness and career readiness and things like that. We're into high schools now. And I think that's a very important component for the future of St. Lucie County. You know, we're obviously developing future workforce and things like that, introducing kids to new careers. How do you see that need growing as our community grows?
It's growing faster than we can keep up with. That's the first thing. And I think that becomes an interest that our board has to have, working in tandem with our leadership in our administration, because I might be wrong on this, but there's 60,000 plus kids that live in our community. We service on an annual basis, coming through our doors with our attendance records, about maybe 5,000. So you could see that the potential there for growth is definitely, it could be overwhelming when you think about it. But as a board and as administrative staff, that has to be part of our strategic plan. But the other asset to that is that as industry grows, they need manpower and women power to be able to fill those positions. So I think through our workforce readiness program, Will Armstead and in cooperation and collaboration with the board see that need, and that was for piloting our workforce readiness program. So it could be a win-win situation for our children, but also for our workforce.
And I think that growth offers opportunities also for our mobile club. We have gotten, I feel like in the short time that I've been with the organization, the mobile club has just grown so much. We've worked so much with the city of Port St. Lucie to get this program out there, because there are so many youth and teens that need these programs that don't have a club. And so it's really exciting to see. I don't know if you know, but we've got a few recognitions lately through our national organization on Mobile Club. I think it's something that other clubs are going to model in the future.
Yeah, which is, that's something that we would never have thought of back in the day, let me put it that way. And that's an outreach that's needed to be able to fill a void, because not everybody can be transported to come to a club. So that mobile club goes out to them, and the recognition that we received on that was duly awarded.
Yep. And talk to me a little bit, jumping around here, but you mentioned that the mobile club is not something that you guys would have thought of at the very early beginnings of the organization. I want to know some of your thoughts on your time with the organization. You've seen it from the very beginning grow so much. I know you don't know how many years you've been involved with us.
I don't want to admit it.
Yeah. But how have you seen the organization grow and change?
Immensely, no doubt about it. And I think that what grounds us is when you look at our mission statement, it's always about the outcome that we hope to achieve. So the needs are always greater than what we are able to provide right now. But through strategic planning, through our board, which will be updating our strategic plan, looking forward to be able to collaborate with our administration to be able to project what those needs are. But, we did have mentoring programs then. We have them now. So there's some things that have been consistent that goes along with BGCA of America's model. So we have to also make sure that we're meeting that commitment. But locally, you start looking at what our local needs are. And I think many of the initiatives we have, and again, with our first workforce readiness program, that's one to address that, our kids, what we expect for them to be is to be, when they graduate high school, which we have an outstanding graduation rate, which is nearly 100%, to go on to college or pursue employment or go to the military. So we need to make sure that, we're providing those opportunities for those kids to have the skills to be able to enter those career fields.
Well, I'm so glad you brought it up, because this month is Workforce Readiness Month. So we're focusing a lot on the different opportunities that we can provide, especially our teens, but we do provide workforce programming for our youngest that starts at 6. And you also just ran a whole golf classic that benefited those programs. So talk to me a little bit first about the golf tournament itself and the success, because I know this is a staple event that everyone looks forward to every year.
Well, we'd like to believe so, and they come back every year, so that's a good omen. I would say this, that it's not me running it, it's me being included to be able to organize that event with some very dedicated people in our community and on our board, as well as our staff like yourself that helps contribute to that. But we've had a successful event. When we start planning for that, it's not a golf tournament. It's an introduction to our organization. So we look at what our goal is, and it is to get golfers, get sponsors, and to have a fun day for a good cause. But many of our people don't ever get into the minutia of what our organization is. But when you have an event like that, you're putting your brand out there for people to be able to evaluate. And I always share with Will, we and which we do, is that quality matters. And our golfers come back, and our sponsors come back, more importantly, so that we can continue to offer that opportunity. But more importantly, in the 27 years, we raised over $1 million. And that's not me. I mean, I've been involved with it for I don't know how many years either. I'd stop counting because I might decide otherwise. But so that event really speaks about our organization. So we have an accountability when we put that on. My information to the golfers is, if you don't like something, tell me. If you like it, tell other people. And they keep coming back. We had 140 golfers this year. We didn't get the count and amount. They're holding it right now. But they're smiling about it. So those dollars that we raise will go back into supporting that particular workforce readiness program.
Yep, and that's just a fun tournament also. I always, some tournaments you get kind of backed up on the holes and stuff, and this one flows so nicely. And even if you have a moment where you're backed up, it's fun. There's food, there's, camaraderie. It's a fun day.
Well, I think that makes our event different. In that respect. We also do a shootout, which the golfers like to do that. They go back and play out for a $500 cash reward. But you don't spend more time than you need to in our event. You get there, you play, you eat while you're on the course, food and beverage. The raffle tickets are picked. We give you a sheet while you're on the course. You come in, you pick up your prize, and you go home. So you save a good hour, 15 minutes when you do that. And when you have 140 golfers, you're going to be out there for 5 hours. Now, 6.5 hours, that's a long time. So I think our golfers like that particular format, and they come back to support that. And in addition, they know the impact that we're making with those dollars that we raise. Well,
speaking of the impact, going back to workforce readiness, because that's what the benefit was this year, was you're benefiting workforce readiness programs. Our teens are getting involved more and more with local organizations, thanks to, we just have Sean Mitchell, who joined our team recently, and he's kind of spearheading all those initiatives. And soon they're going to be, I don't know if you've seen the dog houses they've been building.
I did.
Yes, they're building dog houses. They're getting them out there to different nonprofits and things like that. They have benches around town. And now they're actually going to be trained doing like CPR training and things like that. And the club directors are so good about explaining to the teens that, these skills can be applied for these types of careers. And even if you're babysitting, a lot of times CPR training is great for babysitting and things like that. We're also looking towards the skilled trades careers and things like that. So talk to me about how you see the importance of introducing teens to different careers, but also different businesses locally.
Well, I think that the more exposure they have to that, the more options they have. Not everybody goes on to further education in college, and it doesn't require that you have to have the college education. And as our community grows, those services are needed even more. So by introducing it to them, you can begin to pique their interest, and then having them look at, if you can put your interest with your talent, then you're probably going to be a good employee for somebody and provide a service that you can. So I just recently found out, didn't know about it, but west of town, they're building buildings out there where they're going to be able to put several, I want to say like industries that have to do with firefighting and other organizations like that, where they're going to be able to have people come out there and our kids. And they're going to also be providing opportunities for instruction on those particular fields again, because as we grow, those needs exist, and we need to have manpower to be able to fill them.
Did you see the day that our kids went out and did the camp I think it's called Camp Backdraft.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
All those pictures looked amazing. They had the hose out there. And
Yeah, well, that type piques it because obviously that's something you don't see.
Yeah.
But there may be one or two out there that see that and say, hey, that's something that I could pursue.
Yeah.
And they're great occupations and with a good pension too.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
And that whole day looked like fun. I wanted to do it. I think if you can tie in things with fun, you can't really beat that.
Absolutely.
How do you see these programs coinciding with what's being taught in schools and in terms of workforce readiness, college prep, things like that?
Well, I think, being in the school district, especially spending more than 21 years in the high schools, they have very good programs that are instructional programs and applied programs where our kids can get involved in them, and they might have an interest in getting them in by us exposing them through our club and then pursuing those for training within the school district. And one thing about the school district, and since we're filming here, we have a great collaboration with them. I mean, we're using their buildings before school and after school. And the thing that sometimes gets lost in what the Boys and Girls Club offers in our community is that parents need to have their kids in a safe place. And as we know, you need child care. And we offer that in at least 14 schools, I believe, if we're not growing more than that right now.
I think we're up to 17 now.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, I got to catch up myself. 17 schools where parents can drop them off in the morning, know they're in a safe place. Not only that, but it's a learning opportunity for them. Not to mention our collaboration with the school district where we employ their teachers after school to be able to provide academic support for our kids. And I think that helps them meet their academic responsibilities, and more importantly, I think them going on to consider maybe even higher education or career field. Yeah.
I think a lot of our kids come back as St. Lucie County school teachers as well. So it kind of, it's circular, I guess.
Yeah, I think, again, that collaboration can be a win-win for all those entities that are participating in them.
I know we're so grateful for that partnership, and a lot of clubs around the country don't have clubs in schools because they don't have that same rapport and partnership with their local school district. So we're grateful, and it's a win-win, like you said. How do you see those workforce programs impacting our county as a whole in the future?
Well, I think as a administrative staff and as a board, we need to be looking at what those industries are, and then also looking if we can create a strategic plan that's going to address those needs, and then have our kids continue to participate in internships like we do in the summer, and those kids actually get a stipend for doing that. So, they're getting something back for the time that they're putting into that. So hopefully, we're going to be able to supply, I think, the manpower to be able to, we got some big industries that are moving in our community, and we know through the pandemic, a lot of industries could not reopen because they couldn't get employees to staff their business. So hopefully, through us working through that initiative collaboratively, we can find out what the needs are and look at our strategic plan to get our kids into those potential workforces.
And I think the stipends is something that we don't talk about enough because it's such a unique feature for our club. Again, not all clubs do this. It's definitely something that when I joined the organization, I had never heard of anything like this. But our kids actively take on different roles within their clubs and jobs and things like that, and they get hands-on training in their club, and they're getting a paycheck for it, which is so cool.
Yeah, which I think is real world. And I don't think you'd be coming to work every day if you weren't getting a paycheck at the end of the week. I know I wouldn't. So, we're getting those kids accustomed to knowing that, you put your time into it, and as a result, you get something back, and the reward is, it's not bad when you're a teenager and you're looking to put gas in your car and whatever other needs they have for clothing. And not only that, help support their family too.
in a safe environment. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of times, you know, you're a teenager, some of them obviously can't drive yet, things like that, but they're looking for those opportunities to be more independent and to learn, and we're offering a safe environment for them to do that.
Absolutely.
So we've talked a little bit about the history of the organization, we've talked about the golf. I want to move into our next event that's coming up later in October, and that's our 41st annual Chili Cook-Off, presented by A&G Concrete Pools. Before we started taping, you told me that you have really seen it from the very, very beginning.
Yes. Okay, but I'm not going to tell you how many years.
Yes.
Okay, but you know, yes. Interesting thing is that, you know, one of my roles and responsibilities on the board back in the day was resource development, and working with Melanie Wilds together. We were out there beating the concrete. But interesting, the Exchange Club initiated the Chili Cook-Off, and used to have it at what the Defense Center wasn't there at the time. So a lot of times they would host it at the fairgrounds, and because it was a large facility. And at some point in time, one of our board members was also in the Exchange Club, and they, you know, they wanted to pass the baton, and they offered it to our organization. And, you know, we jumped at it because we saw an opportunity to be, we had the staff to be able to handle something as big as that, which it is. You know how much effort goes into that, and they're working their little buns off right now, making sure that the 41st one is going to be better than they've done in the past. I think that's always the objective. And again, that's another opportunity to display our brand. And it's a great opportunity. People look forward to it every year. And, you know, moving it to where it is now, it does suit that kind of population, because I think we get as many as like 15,000 people to come out to that event.
It's a crazy big event.
Yeah, so, you know, what's great about it is we can carry that on, and it becomes a community event that people look forward to every year. And as a result, we get dollars to be able to support our initiatives.
And this year, last year we had about 18 teams compete with their chili. This year we have 30, if not more. I believe we had to cap it at 30 just for spacing issues and things like that. But the theme this year is spooky cinema. So it's very festive, which I love, because it's right around that time of year, and, you know, Halloween and chili, I feel like, go hand in hand. We get to see the car show return. We had that last year. Did you go to last year's event?
Did.
And you'll be at this year's event?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of chili to be tasted, and we're excited. It's we're thankful for the Clover Park and Mets partnership for hosting.
You know, an interesting thing about that, the community picks up on that theme too, especially the kids. You'll see them come out in their costumes as well. So that's all part of, I believe, that interaction that makes it a fun event for a good cause.
Yes, and we encourage all the costumes. I think I need to go pick out my costume. It's in the works. We have trick-or-treating. This year we have live music, and it's also, like you said about the golf tournament, it's a great opportunity for people to see our programs and see what we're about, because our kids actually perform at the event. And last year we had a chili team made up of Boys and Girls Club's teens, a team of teens with Kyle G's. They kind of went hand in hand and learned how to make chili, part of their culinary program, and it's a great opportunity to see it all.
It is. It is an annual event that people look forward to, and I'm glad that we were able to continue to offer that to our community. And we do it well. We do it well.
And looking even further out, this year is a big year for our organization. It is our 30th anniversary. So we're going to be celebrating in January, and we have our gala coming up, and we are going to be just really talking about all of our successes that we've seen over the last 30 years. I know we're all excited. Do you plan on being at the gala?
Do you want me to continue my membership as a board member?
Yes.
What do you think my answer is going to be?
Yes,
Absolutely.
I hope we see everybody there.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be at Mid-Florida, and that is, we're hoping for hundreds of people to come out and celebrate with us. We have John Quinones, who he actually spoke at our Boys and Girls Clubs of America National Conference this summer. Great speaker. He's very inspirational to hear from. He was on his television show. So we're really excited to have him there. And then we also have Felicia Rodriguez. She's going to be there as our master of ceremonies. And we've got live music, auction, raffles, we got it all.
It's going to be a gala that everybody is going to enjoy, that's for sure. But again, that's opening our doors to the community. And you know, there's no doubt about it that we could not grow our organization without the support of our community. There's a lot of nonprofits in St. Lucie County, very good nonprofits that are collaborating, and we do collaborate with several of them in order to be able to provide the needs for our kids in our community. Obviously, we're a kid-driven organization.
Yes.
And we could not do that. And I will say that, you know, in my 51 years here in St. Lucie County, it's a very generous community. And have to say thank you and hats off to all our sponsors that continue to come out every year to continue to support our organization and the other organizations as well, because that makes our community a better place to live. That makes our community an attractor for people to want to live here. And Lord knows, we are getting many people moving here. So I think that's going to be a big challenge to our board and our administration. If you drive out west, you're going to find communities out there that people are going to be in awe of that don't realize they're out there. We need to have outreach there for providing opportunities for those kids that are coming or living in those communities as well. So that's going to be a big challenge, I believe, for our board to be able to plan for that and to come up with a strategic plan that's going to allow us to be able to include those kids in our organization.
Well, that was what I was just going to ask. Do you think that that will be implemented, because you talked a lot about strategic planning, do you think that will be implemented for the next 30 years?
It has to be. It has to be. I mean, long after I'm somewhere else, and you know, other people are taking the baton and running with it, that's got to be a major goal of ours. You know, in addition to having world-class programs, which we do, but we also be able to, we have to get out there, and the mobile club is a Band-Aid for that, which is a very good one. But we need to be able to, we're going to have be challenged to open up additional clubs.
Well, and I think that's just the essence of growth. You have to grow your clubs, grow your numbers, and the organization seems to grow by the day.
Yeah, and that provides another challenge, because you have to have staff too. You know, and one thing about our staff, a lot of professional development. You know, we always talk about quality, and quality makes a difference. And I have to brag on our staff. I mean, we didn't get recognition for having a program. We have a CEO that also was recognized as CEO of the year. That doesn't happen without putting that out there first. You know, how are we going to make this, whatever it is we do, have quality so that the outcome is going to benefit the kids first, but also many of our staff now, they're kids that grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. Now they're working for the Boys and Girls Club, and there's no better way of doing that. You grow your own.
Well, we have a lot to look forward to for the next 30 years, and we have a lot to celebrate for this, you know, benchmark. And I know we covered a lot today, but I thank you so much for all of your insight and for your, you know, your participation in our clubs is amazing. So thank you all for joining us today.